Welcome to Far Work. So by now you should have done your weekly updates. Again, the weekly updates are four specific things that we want you to cover. With the weekly updates, we want you to cover. Let me just get the list up. When you do your weekly updates, we prefer audio or video. So every lesson from now on, so we start at 9 o'clock. Sorry, you guys start at 9 o'clock, but we actually start class at 10 past 9. With the weekly updates, what you should be covering is task completed. Well, obviously, because you've just begun your project or you are just getting started with the project, you're not going to have much to say about that. However, you should be able to say something about what's in progress. You know, whether you are waiting for a project, or whether you want me to give you a project, or whether your project is in waiting mode for something. So that is in progress. Tasks to be done. Well, all of you guys should be talking about requirements. All right. What are your project requirements? Even if your project requirements you're not sure about yet, but there's one thing for sure: you need to gather information about your project, about your client, about your whatever it is that you're going to be doing the project on. Right. So you need to gather information. So that's the first thing. Right. Tasks. Then you have to talk about tasks you're waiting for. So if you, for example, you may require or you may set up a meeting with your client and your client's not available. So that's what you're waiting for. You're waiting you're waiting for your client to be free. Or perhaps if you're working in a group, then you might be waiting for your colleague to finish a job before you can go on with yours. So that is what you're waiting for. It could be that you're waiting for an email. It could be that you're waiting for a phone call. It could be that you're waiting for a meeting, right? There's always something that we're waiting for, all right? Maybe you just don't have time. Maybe you're waiting to have more time, all right? This is what you need to talk about. You know, right now, for example, if you're waiting for time, right now I'm quite busy. I don't have too much time to dedicate on this project. I'm just going to wait until tomorrow to dedicate time to my project. Yeah. So there's always something to talk about in the weekly updates, which leads me to the next point. So weekly updates should be done between 9 and 9:10, 10 past. I'm going to set the submission link to finish at exactly 9:15. Right, so if you don't submit by 9:15, then you're not going to submit at all. All right. Now, there's a reason why I'm doing this, and I'm sure Alex will agree. This subject is to get you ready for work. This subject is to get you ready for what's out there. Right. So we're going to treat this subject like a company. Right? I am your boss, and so is Alex. You are working for IT Works. So that means that lateness, right? That can't happen. Right? Yes, I understand everybody runs late every so often, but if you think about it, if you were at work, you wouldn't be late to work, would you? Right? And these are the things that we need to prepare you for, right? You cannot, if you're going to be late, then what do you do when, first of all, suppose you have a job. If you're going to be late for your job, what do you do? What is it that you do? Can anybody tell me?
You let the boss know.
You let the boss know, right? If you're going to be late, send me an email. Hey, Roberto or Alex, an email. Hey, Roberto, I'm going to be running late to class. Because ultimately, these are the things that you need start thinking about. Okay, this is why we have this particular subject. We don't do this for fun. We're just getting you prepared for work. Some of you guys have already got work, right? So really, unless you have a really good excuse, you need to try to be as early as possible. Well, at least on time. Okay. So again, we are treating this subject like a job. Your job is going to be working on your projects. So that means that Alex and I, we're going to come around every lesson to check to see, first of all, how you going? Do you need help from us? How's your project going? You might have a question. Let's have a look at your progress. We're not going to micromanage you. We're not going to stand. We're not going to stand in front of, at the back of you, and breathe down your neck. We're not going to do that. However, you need to progress. All right. This is, unfortunately, I would love to sit with you and start looking at what you're going to be doing, and I would love to sit with you every week, but that's impossible, and you wouldn't like it either, because nobody likes to be micromanaged. But micromanaged, I mean, I'm standing here and watching you work, right? That's micromanaging. So we're not going to micromanage you. However, we do expect you, as part of this company, to pull your weight. In other words, we expect you guys to do your work without us having to check on you all the time, because that's reality, right? It'll be a sad fact if my boss had to walk in at 9 o'clock this morning just to check to see if I'm here. That's probably not a good thing. One, because, I'm not really being professional. And two, he's wasting his time. I signed a contract that I'm going to be teaching this class on Friday, 9 o'clock. Then that's what I should be doing as part of my contract. All right. So please, let's treat this as a job, because ultimately that's what we're preparing you for. All right. Now today, do we have any pitches? We talked about pitches last week. Pitching your idea to us and to the class, of course. Now, some of you don't have a project yet. That's okay. I'll give you a project today. So after today, everybody should have a project. Everyone. Hands up those who don't have a project yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. No worries. We'll have a meeting after, all right? After I finish. So for those of you who have got a project, you should have either worked on your pitches, or your pitch should be ready now, or you're going to be working on your pitch today, and be prepared to pitch next week. So we're trying to finalize pitches. We're trying to finalize pitches by the end of next week. Okay. Because we want to work on our projects. We don't want to waste so much time. So you're gonna find that I'm not gonna talk for very long, because we're gonna be busy now, right? Everybody should be working on your project. So that means that after I finish talking, what do we need to do? One, gather information about your project. Two, have meeting with your group. This is important, right? So every Friday, you should be meeting with your group. If you can't make Friday, if you can't make class for some reason, then you should be sending emails, not only to Alex and I, but to your group members as well. Because remember, this is a business, yeah? So You should be sending emails. You should be prepared to have meetings because this is where it starts. Right? Unfortunately, meetings can be cumbersome and sometimes boring, but they're important because this is where you need to discuss what you're going to be doing from here to next Friday. It's not a strange thing to have meetings during the week either. So that means that some of you, if you're in class, then you might have a meeting on Wednesday or Thursday or on Tuesday. It does not matter. You have to organize that, right? So that means that, and let me give you a tip. You should be all trying to organize meetings using technology, right? We talked about timelines. I think we talked about timelines last week, that you should have a timeline for your project, right? You should have, when do you expect your project to finish and what phases your project is going to go through. And this is nothing new, right? When you work out there, right? Every project has got different phases. So you might, the first phase may be to complete task 1, for example, and that phase may last 2 or 3 weeks. After 2 or 3 weeks, then you go into the second phase, and that may last 4 weeks, and then the 4th phase, 5th, and 6th, or whatever. All right. Now, this helps you organize your project a little bit better, but it also guarantees that you're on task, not only yourselves but your group members as well. Because don't forget, as a group, you guys are going to see this project through. So having timelines and sticking to those timelines is very important. Again, we can use technology for this. All right. I think you guys have got Microsoft Project as part of your. Let me double check that. But Microsoft Project is a software that's specifically designed for managing a project and specifically designed for managing timelines. So I'm going to check to see if you guys have got access to that. I'm pretty sure you do. So today, what we're going to be looking at is, first of all, your projects. I'm going to come around to every single one of you guys today, and we're going to chat about your projects. Second of all, this is where you start. Apart from doing your timeline, you have to start your documentation. All right? The documentation is, well, what is your problem definition? Remember, we checked out this document last week. What is your problem definition? What is it that you're trying to achieve in your project? If it's a website that you're creating, then why are you creating that website? What is there a niche for that website? Do you have to update a website, and this is your project, or is it that a website that's going to sell things, and therefore your problem definition is going to be obviously retail. In other words, you're going to be selling things for a profit. Right. So you should be working on your problem definition if you have already got a project. So that is your first documentation that you're going to be doing. The other documentation is what you're doing. What is it that you're doing? What is it that you're going to do? Right? What information are you gathering? What do you need to gather? You need to brainstorm. Has everybody heard of that word, brainstorm? So brainstorm with your group. What is it that what information do you require to have as part of your project? How do you access that information? Do you need to meet with a client? Or can you get it from the internet? So gather information. how you get your information, what technology are you going to be utilizing. Well, this is all part of gathering information. What technology are you going to be utilizing? So again, if it's a website that you are creating, what are you going to code it in? HTML, JavaScript, React? Are you going to be using XML? Are you going to be using SQL? Are you going to be using PHP? How are you going to use PHP? Where are you going to host it? So all these questions should be coming up in every week, right? Now this is going to change too. So don't expect that your requirements and your information gathering today is going to be persistent. It won't be, because your technology may change. You're going to find yourself with limitations. So for example, suppose you want to create a website, right? And you want to execute that website, or you want to see it, or you want to see that website work, right? Then for maybe for today, you may use a program called XAMPP. I'm pretty sure everybody's used it or knows about it. XAMPP is just a server-like program that you install in your computer, and what that does, it executes code like a server would, like a web server. So ultimately, it simulates a web server. So for now, you may use XAMPP to look at your website if you're coding it in PHP, for example. But maybe tomorrow, sorry, maybe next week, you may find that maybe a cloud hosting solution is better, because XAMPP has to be installed in your computer, in your local computer, but a cloud hosting service that may be free does a better job, because you can access it whenever you want, and people can access it multiple times, and you don't have to be together. So what I'm saying is, your idea should be the same, your task should be the same, but the technology you use may change, and that's perfectly fine. Of course, there's limitations to that, right? If you're going to build a website in PHP and you spend 4 weeks coding in PHP, and then suddenly you decide, you know what, I don't want to do PHP anymore, I want to do React now. Well, Alex and I will have something to say about that, because that's 4 weeks worth of coding. Well, it should be, right? And unless you're a really good coder, unless you really know your programming very well, then you may be able to do that. But if you can't code in React and you have to learn React, then Alex and I will say, well, you can't do that because you're not going to have enough time. All right. So there is limitations to change, and that is no different to what goes out there, what goes on out there in the real in industry. There's change, and there should always be change, but there should only be reasonable change. Again, if you work on a website and you're coding it in PHP, and then after 4 weeks you decide to go, to learn React, well, you've just wasted 4 weeks. It seems like a lot. Sorry, it doesn't seem like a lot, but it is. In this subject, it is, because you got to listen to me when I tell you this, because this is the truth. Time will fly. Time will fly. Alex and I will give you as much time as possible, and this is why we have a chat in the morning. And this is how it's going to go. Every week, we're going to have a chat in the morning, and then we're going to set you loose to do your project, because we understand that time is of essence here. Time is precious, so don't waste it. That means that if you can come to class and dedicate the 4 hours that we're in class, then do it. Because this is ultimately going to be your time that you're going to allocate to this particular subject. And 4 hours is not very much. Especially once you start doing your project, you'll see what I mean. Right? The project as an idea, it's reachable, but in reality, the project in reality is not that reachable. It looks very close, but it's not. It's very far. And of course, your dedication and your discipline is going to show that. All right. Is there anything else I need to talk about? Nope. So, does anybody have a pitch to do? Or can I get you to come up here then? And do you have it in a what format do you have it in?
I have one on my OneDrive and my memory.
Okay. Do you want to? All right. So what you can do, Tyrone, isn't it, Tyrone? Do you want to? You might have to come here because you've got the microphone. So maybe you bring your USB stick. Yeah, put it in. Maybe put it into the chat if you don't want people looking at it. Or if not, just you can send me an email if you want to. Okay. Send to me by email then, I guess. Can everybody hear me okay? Right, so you should be ready to go. All right, everyone. So we have our first pitch of a project. Can we please pay attention at the front? Actually, you know what? I shared the wrong one. Sorry. Just sorry. Okay. So I'll share this one. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to drag it across. Right?
Yeah, that's easy.
Right.
Hello everyone. Oh, that's the wrong way. I'm just gonna open all of these so that I can refer to them. Oh God, are these all gonna open individually? Oh, it's kind of confusing which side the mouse is on. No, they're not. Anyway, all right, that's fine. I'll open them one by one. So, hello, my name is Taryn. Our project idea is for a mobile app. We'll be using Java and Android Studio because that's the language that my group is most comfortable in, I suppose. The idea for the app is a sort of journaling and mental health tracker app. We have a few sketches here of, oh my God, I'm so disorientated. All right, so this is sort of the main page idea. Ooh, okay. So obviously mental health is very important and people aren't always the best at talking about it or keeping track of it themselves. So we've got a system where you can rate your physical and emotional health or just sort of how you feel. So maybe you say, you know, okay, you're feeling physically great, you just went to the gym and you're feeling healthy, but emotionally you're not feeling awesome. And then you can write down in the bottom box why, and that will act as a journal for you. And the app will remind you to use it and help keep track of your inputs with something like this. So this will be a chart and it will plot these inputs onto a line graph so that you can keep track of your day-to-day sort of mental health. And that will be used in conjunction with, oh my God. Oh, I should have shown you this. It's also obviously going to have a login screen. I should have showed you that first, it's fine. With this, a journal, and it will keep track of all of your journals and you'll be able to read them. So you could look at, maybe there was a spike in your line graph and you felt really good and healthy and happy, and you can go back and read that journal and be like, oh, that's because I was going for a 5K run every morning and I felt really good about myself. And then you could see a dip in the graph and you can look back at that month and go, oh, my fish died. Yeah, that's fair enough. That makes sense why I wasn't feeling so well. We have a few other ideas for little features we could throw in, and we have ideas for things we could cut out. It's just sort of depending on how much you think, how long you think we've got time for, because we think this sort of, you know, we think this is a good amount to do in the time we've got, but if you think we could do more, then tell us and we can add things.
I will tell Tyrone.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our pitch. Oh, I opened a few things multiple times. That's fine.
Okay. So we're done.
Let me close everything.
So first of all, does anybody have any questions about Tyrone's groups? What's your group's name, by the way? So every group should have a name. So it could be the name of your project. Just don't call it Tech SA Students as a name, all right? So, does anybody have any questions for Tyrone in his group about the app? I've got a few questions.
Yeah.
So you're gonna code it in Java. So I'm guessing you're gonna be doing you're gonna do an Android-based app.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, so from what I understand, you're gonna be looking at trends.
Mm.
So you're saying a spike over a particular day. Have you guys thought about how you're going to work out those trends? You know, how are you going to do it via a database,
Mm.
and all that information, where it's going to be stored. Have you guys thought about that?
We've thought about it. We've considered two possibilities. Either we store it within the app in the in-app database, or through the login, it syncs up to a cloud-based system. I think the cloud-based system might be a little more work, so we might stick with the in-app storage just on a database.
Can I give you a suggestion? Maybe because that information is not so sensitive, perhaps you could use a bin file.
Yeah.
Or use a data access object class for that.
Okay. Yeah.
I know that we haven't covered in 5 Jan yet, but we will.
Yeah.
That's one of the options because the data is actually not that sensitive. However, something you guys to think about is your login. Right? That's authentication that needs to be stored somewhere.
Yeah.
And although for this project you could use a bin file, and that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, that should be going to a different place.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere where it's more secure. Even though bin files are secure, but somebody cracks open your phone, then they'll be able to access that bin file.
Yeah.
Be able to read passwords and all that, which is not what we want.
No.
So that's something for you guys to think about. But yeah, great.
Well, there are. I've been looking at Android Studio things. There are pre-made like login with Google things.
Yeah.
That I was considering as well.
Right. So the other option is that using an API.
Yeah.
Right. Now, API are great, but it is a steep learning curve.
Okay.
Which is perfectly fine. It just means that you guys are going to have to work out who's going to do the studying and who's going to be doing the implementing. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying it's a steep learning curve. In saying that, I don't know your capability either. So maybe have a look at it. Maybe have a look to see maybe you can work it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But Google offers the API as a sign-in. And yeah, that's a perfect way of authenticating a user.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Tyrone, and what's our team? All right, next. Who we go next? Yep. Okay, do you want to come up here? Do you have your... Okay, no problem. So what I'll do, just download it. Not one. Okay, ready. All right, here's the microphone. Right, just pay attention, everyone.
Hi everyone. My name is Shravya. I was thinking to develop a website. And this website name is Solicitor. As everybody know that solicitor called a lawyer, and this is the law firm. My scope will be design a website that manage, track, and report law firm services and client information. Like my client is actually a law firm. This is just a little bit background about the law firm. That law field required accuracy in every information. It should be clear, especially in condition where you need to do dealings and agreements. So solicitor is a law firm with around 10 employees. Employees are lawyers, law students, are some contractors. They want to extend their firm and digitize all their data as well as services provided by that law firm. This website has many components, but I will start with the simple one. The first is the welcomer homepage. Whenever you are logging to a website, you see a welcome page that have all the information in it. And I will develop on the back end, I will give an admin portal so that he can change the news or whatever the front information and add things. But it will be on the client side only. The front end for the users, there is only will be the home page. When I want to, because it's just initial, so if I want to extend it, then I will give the option of client management. Client management, like for example, there is a road accident, and there is a person who goes to police and to the lawyer, and he will show his all documentation and proof that it's not my fault or whatever. So all his information will be managed through the client management. And if we extend it more, then we can give this access using a client portal that the client will upload his document or proof or whatever he has, and he can log in it and say what is the status of his claim or agreement. And if that is not enough, then we can add forms, blogs, and videos. From the technology point of view, because my both team members, that is Shruti and Shuri, they already worked on the web development, and I have experience as well. And in this semester, we are working on MVC and as well as MySQL. So we know the basic understanding of database, and we are studying MVC at that level. So it will be good practice for us for that subject as well. But I will gonna use Visual Studio 2022 because there is lots of visibility, like built-in functionality. I don't need to work on dependency injections that is built in Visual Studio 2022. Telesense are much better. There are new libraries and assemblies in it. So the front end with the HTML5, CSS3, and I will use helping. We will use helping. Built-in libraries like page list for the paging. We can use a bootstrap that is built in CSS that just we need to include it, or angle shot that is same like the bootstrap. And for the connectivity, we will use the entity framework. It's also latest that's with which is 2020. So basically, the two frameworks, Visual Studio 2022 and the backend will be SQL Server. And there is built-in Git, and we are also doing Git assignment in our 5TST subject. So we have been already practicing with Visual Studio 2020, 2019. So it's same like whatever we are doing, we are just going to implement it in that way.
Um, right. Does anybody have any questions for Sahir?
Rabia.
Rabia.
Yeah, so he is my
Sahir,
surname.
Yep.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions for Rabia about her project? I've got a question. Authentication. What are you guys going to use? So it is, from what I understand, it's going to be a website. But the website is going to have a portal or, yep.
Yeah, I think portal.
And what is the scope of each person within the user group? So is it going to have like administrators? Is it going to have lawyers, for example? Is it going to have the normal public? And if you're going to have all these different groups accessing your website, how are they going to differ?
Yeah.
How are you guys going to differ between all three?
Even at the admin portal, at the admin level, we can divide the access rights. So it will be a completely a separate access roles. Like he can only log in and upload a file, or he can do whatever the changes are showing on the home page. So there will be like maybe one or two access right. One is for the employee who is working for the law firm and dealing just with the client, and the other person, maybe a HR person or the head of it, maybe he's changing the information that is news at the front end. And from the client portal, uh, only a client can log in and only see what his status, a single page, and he can update only his things, like he can see only the news related to him.
Sure.
Like a student portal yeah, like we are just we can only see what we are doing, we can't access the other person, so it will be mean very restricted.
So, in terms of technology, though, in terms of code, and how are you going to restrict the access?
There are many built-in features in ASP.NET C Sharp. There are controls. We can just utilize them.
Okay.
And we can, yeah,
Okay.
and we can also build. We can also build, because both frameworks are really very secure.
Yeah.
SQL Server, Visual Studio. I don't think so. We have to be thinking much about, but definitely security. I didn't think like that in security at that time.
This is why I'm asking this question, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, your website, attack site, I've got a different access to what you guys have.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, and the access should be authenticated, right? So this is what you guys have to think about. So if what I'm saying is, how sensitive is the information for the client compared to some other group, lawyers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, for example, I've got a different access, so I'm a lecturer. So I'm a lecturer group, and you guys are student group. We have different accesses, and that is done through authentication via Windows authentication, but also the server. Microsoft Server, as part of the Active Directory, is what authenticates me as a user compared to you as a user. So this is what I want you guys to think about. If you're going to have, for example, if you're going to upload documents to your website, if those documents are of sensitive nature, in other words, those documents have got
definitely
some personal information that
Yeah.
really should lock it down, right? We should have more authentication, or at least limit the amount of people that have got access to that particular side of the website. But the authentication, this is what you guys have to think about. How are you gonna implement it?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you don't have to answer that point, but this is what you guys have to think about. All right. Any other questions? Comments? All right. Okay. Anybody else with pictures? No. Maria? You got a pitch, Maria? Okay. No worries, Maria. Do you have a microphone?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. What I'm going to do, Maria, is I'm going to make you a presenter so you can share your screen and you can begin your pitch whenever you are ready. Just give me a second. Let me just adjust this. Stop sharing. All right, Maria, go for it. All right, pay attention, everyone, because the actual speaker is not that loud. So, yeah.
I'm trying to share my screen at the moment. Just a moment. Oh, actually, just share the whole thing because I'm going from one tab to the next.
Okay. So we can see your screen now.
Can see, okay. So as you can see, my name is Maria. So I have this idea of developing or redeveloping this website I currently look after. So this is the look and feel at the moment. So it is a website that car detailing is provides services for polishing, car protection, correction, all of that. So I'm trying to redevelop this website for a long time. So this is the perfect opportunity to do it once and for all. So the website currently lives at this address, and it's been sitting there for maybe good 10 years now. So this website is currently being developed using WordPress and like a demo template. So at the beginning, I just chose any template that I could use, and I just went from there. But it's been giving me a lot of headaches. So mainly, many people, all the clients that we have, they absolutely love it. Yeah, and well, from the first glance at it, it looks pretty nice. But on the back end of things, the page builder is really cumbersome to work with. The customization is problematic. Sometimes I'm having issues, like if you can see there's icons that are not showing what they should be showing. And sometimes some sections just come and go as they please and show the wrong thing. So just like I said, it's giving me a headache. And the client, my client wants complete redevelop of some parts of it and some pages. So mainly what I'm gonna be working on, this slider, see that's supposed to be like an arrow there, but it's just showing a square. So that's pretty much gonna stay the same or similar. So, and this is, or he wants a more flashy look to it, like a more modern look and feel. This part of the front page is going to change. The services are going to be different and more flashy. He wants something more to go with, you know, the intention of the whole website. So the blog, this part comes from posts that we have in the website, and it's just accessed through using a shortcode. So that's probably not going to change much. We're just going to migrate all the posts to the new website and just keep the same thing and keep on adding to it. And the footer doesn't look very nice, so that's probably going to be changed. In terms of the other pages, the services page, he doesn't like the look of it. Is like too much text, and it should be more dynamic as well. So that's gonna change. What else is there? I forgot to say that he wants some, in the homepage, he wants some ratings from Google to appear there. So that's gonna be changed as well. The booking page is a little bit, I don't know, to me it looks a bit difficult to use. Though we receive a lot of bookings from this page, but I think it needs a bit of redeveloping there. The contact us page as well is not up to scratch according to the client. The blog, like I said, is just going to be a simple, you know, just pretty much keeping the same thing. That's going to be the same. That's going to stay the same. And the gift vouchers, at the moment, we've only got gift vouchers, but in future, we want to have services sold here. So if I have time, I can introduce more services there. So at the moment, we've just got a few vouchers there that we sell. So I think that's pretty much it. Hello? 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 Oh, okay.
In the chat is on Collaborate. Wow. Hello? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you, Maria. Does anybody have any questions for Maria? We've got a question for you, Maria. Just give me a second.
Okay. Oh, great. Great.
Does anybody have any questions? Sorry, I thought you put up your hand. Does anybody have any questions? Sorry, Maria. I thought somebody had a question, but
So
they don't.
did you hear everything, or was I talking to
Yes,
myself?
we heard everything. We heard everything. Thank you, thank
Okay.
you. We do have a question. Give me a sec.
So with the services, is it an e-commerce purchase or do you just contact the website?
No, people can purchase things online at the moment. So yeah, but like I said, it's only vouchers that they can purchase.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see what you
And
mean. Yep.
yeah, I send them like a voucher, like a print out of a voucher,
Yep.
because people like to have it in their hands, but they do it online. Yeah,
Right,
using
that makes
credit
sense.
cards. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, team. I do have a question. I myself have got a question. So, are you looking to have like a database backend to your website?
Well,
Uh, uh,
it's so on the WordPress, it's all there. As I know, WordPress does it all for you. The database is in the back end. You don't have to do anything manually. You just grab and use as you
Yeah.
please. So the databases are there.
Okay, so it's integrated with the WordPress.
Yeah,
Is that what you're
it's
saying? Yeah.
nothing done from scratch.
Right.
Unless you want to
Um,
customize the templates or whatever, you have to
yeah.
go through a
So
process
so
of doing that.
so so just to get a better understanding of your project, what your project's going to be solely on, you're going to focus on is changing the look and feel of the website, with adding new graphics and making it
Yeah,
more user friendly. Is that correct?
Yeah, as well, it's gonna make things easier for me in terms of I'm gonna change the page builder. At the moment, I'm just using whatever, the standard
Sure.
one. So I'm gonna be changing that
Sure.
to Elementor, which is a better one that is drop and
That you
drag,
got now.
drag and drop. So
Right. Okay.
it's gonna make things easier for me as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna
Definitely.
be using a different demo template because the one I
Yeah.
use is the standard one as well.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody else? We got a pitch. We got one more. Jason, isn't it? Jason, come on, Jason, come up. Um, sorry? Oh, did you? Okay. I'm just going to just move this now. Just gonna download it. Take it away. So here's a microphone. All right, everyone, one more pitch.
Hello everyone, my name is Jason, and my group name is called Think Outside of the Box. So it's basically going to be a game, but it's going to be a physics-based puzzle game, which means physics-based means you can move basically every object around in the game. As well as being a puzzle game, you have to complete challenges in order to move on to the next level. It will be made in Unity, which uses the C# language. Unity also offers a large range of different plugins to use to make games. The aim of the game is basically you have to complete 3 levels and a boss level, which is typically standard for any other game to play. Why did I choose the name Think Outside of the Box? Well, basically, the idea of the game was to have a hidden mechanic that will finish the level early if you can think outside the box. So basically, if there's a door behind you, and you go, complete the whole level, you could have just left from the door behind you if you thought about it. And that's practically it.
Excellent. All right. So I'll just grab the mic. Does anybody have any questions for Jason? Anybody online have a question for Jason? All right, I have a few questions. So you're using Unity as the engine.
Yep.
So what language are you going to be coding it in? C#. Are you going to have user progress? Are you going to have some sort of tally as to how the user is doing so far with the game?
There will be a saving mechanic, so you can say it's one of them, leave it on so far.
Right.
Go back to it.
So what I guess what I'm asking is, if I was a user of your game, how if I play the game, then I'm gonna get to level 3, for example. So and then I have to cook some dinner, and I shut the game down. So if I was to go back to the game, would I begin at level 3 again? You begin, and how? And I guess the question is, how are you going to keep track of that?
Unity does have it does have a way of saving
Yeah. Sorry.
Unity does have a way of saving games. It's called player preferences. So it's basically it'd be saved in numbers practically. So the game will open up and be like, oh, you have reached number 3, so it's level 3 practically, and then you'll just begin back into the scene level 3.
And so I guess so that does that mean, Jason, that there's some sort of database or some sort of, there has to be somewhere where that information is stored, right?
It's probably stored on a .json file.
Yeah.
Because it is a Unity game.
It is part of the Unity engine.
Yes.
Yeah. And so when somebody plays the game, how would they play it without? So are you looking to export the game at some point out of Unity?
Yes, just into like the Windows environment.
So like a Windows app, yeah, application, yeah, is that correct?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then does all the files gonna come with it, or the
Yeah, Unity generates the files.
yeah.
So just press it and
Yeah.
it's going to be in a file.
Okay, no problem. So I'm guessing, you know, you would you have just one Windows application that's going to, you know, talk to all these different files, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yep. Okay. Good. Good. Anybody else got any questions? No. All right. I can't wait to see it, Jason. Well done. Okay. Anybody else with pictures? Online? Okay. Thank you. So we got one more. So Zizi? Is that how
谢
you
主
say it?
it doesn't matter as long as you
Okay,
know
no
it's me,
worries.
it's fine. So
Okay,
my
no
name
worries.
is 谢主.
Okay, give me
Okay.
a second.
No
So I've made
rush.
you a
I mean,
so I've made
okay.
you a presenter now.
Yeah, thank you. And hopefully
Okay,
everyone can hear from me. And
yes.
currently, I have a client trying to start a new company selling organic food in here, in Adelaide. And since they're asking me and my partner to build up a website, like an e-commerce website for them. The website can allow people to order their food and then order the time for delivery and stuff. And then we're
Yeah.
also going to include an introduction and a blog and some details about the company and maybe the contact page, the form, the newsletter, and everything. So that's basically our project. And we've been trying to build up in this project with Elementor and with WooCommerce and probably other plugins, since WooCommerce are basically quite basic from what we see. And we're going to, since that's a freelance project, including the initiation with the client, the making of the invoice, making the payment, and basically first we are going to give him the demo, and later we're going to give him the full version of the entire news set, and we are going to do the testing as well to make sure the payment is okay. And maybe we are going to meet up some of the taxation issues and like accounting stuff. So the work is like both programming and maybe some of the marketing, like or like personal, like connecting with accountant, that kind of stuff as well. So that's basically my project. Hopefully it's clear enough.
Do you have like a storyboard of what your project is going to be about, or do you
Story.
like do you have
Storyboard.
anything to show us so that we can have a better idea as to what your project's about?
I'm going to show. Let's see. Yeah, I should create something beforehand. I'm sorry for this.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. I think they have some of their documents. Wait. Like their like their products, and then maybe I can show you guys their products, and I'm not sure if that's fine.
Sure, we'll love to see it.
Okay. So how do I share the screen again? Yeah.
So you go to the share screen, like right here.
Yeah. Strangely, my browser, Firefox doesn't allow me to do that.
Okay. So can I get you to maybe do the same pitch next week, but with the storyboard or what you're gonna see your product being, or an example so that we can have a better idea? Because at the moment, I'm struggling to understand what your project's going to be about.
Okay, it is basically a e-store that allow people to buy and buy organic food from a company, and we are making the website for this company. And yeah, they're going to the website is going to have the functions of most of the websites, like the online stores, that allows you to maybe sort the food, make the order, and then make the delivery. And after the company receives the delivery, they are going to send the like the buyer their products, that kind of stuff. If you really want, I can basically make another like a better of presentation next time.
I think if you can work on like maybe your pitch, because it's really hard to sort of imagine. It's hard for us to imagine, or to what you actually want to do your project about. So if it's going to be an e-commerce website, I'm guessing that's what you're saying. Then we need to know,
Yeah.
what is it that you're going to do. We need to sort of visualize it. So if you like to prepare maybe next week, and then maybe do the pitch again next week, is that okay?
I would like to know, like, what exactly do you want to know? Like, do you want a layout of the page, or do you want some, like, where don't you understand so that I can make this part more clearly?
Sure. So we wanna see what you're gonna be working on. We wanna see why you're gonna be working on it. We wanna see, if you can't make the website, at least give us an example of what your website is gonna look like, right? Even if it's just a
Okay.
picture of it, right? And also,
Okay, cool.
what technologies you're gonna use, how is a user going to navigate through your website? Excuse me.
Okay.
How a user is going to be navigating through the website. All right.
Okay, cool.
So don't forget, this is a pitch, right? So if you were to sell me your e-commerce website, if you were to sell me this, I would say I don't want to buy it because I can't even see it.
Okay.
That's the truth. That's the truth of the matter, right? So a pitch is basically trying to convince me and Alex that your idea is good. But how can you possibly convince us when we can't see it? Does that make sense?
Okay. 1 second. I'm not sure if that's okay, because I can show you another site. It's like also a demo site, but the site I built of another company, so that there are similarities, and maybe you can get a sense of it.
Yeah. Well, but this is what I mean. So you need to prepare a little bit better for your pitch. So next week when you do your pitch again, you have to prepare a little bit more, because don't forget, a pitch is trying to convince Alex and I that your project's a good idea. But you need to prepare. So it's hard to sell a product without actually showing me anything. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So prepare next week for the pitch. All right. Now, anybody else? Pitches? Anybody else? Do we have a question? It's a bit hard to. Oh, all right. All right. Okay. So thank you for those of you who did the pitches today. Those of you who have not done your pitches, well, next week is your turn. So you already saw what we are expecting. All right. So some of the pitches were good. In actual fact, they're all good. And that's what we expect, right? Try to sell us your product. Try to convince Alex and I that your project is actually a good idea, right? So those of you who didn't do the pitch today, next week is your turn. We're gonna do this. So next week when we come back, we're gonna do the weekly updates in the morning. Then we're gonna talk about what we're gonna do for the day. Then we're gonna do the pitches. All right. I'm now going to set you guys loose. So from now to the end of class, what you should be working on is your project, your idea, have meetings with your group members and document this. Yeah? Because there's no point of having a meeting if you can't document it. I want to see, and so does Alex, we want to see that how you went on about your project. Right? Did you have meetings? How did you organize the meetings? What technologies did you use? What did you cover? All of these different things that you need to document as part of your meetings. All right. All right. Before I set you guys loose, does anybody have any questions about what we're doing from now on? Anybody online? Okay. So from now on to the end of class, we're working on our projects. There was a problem with definite. Okay. Okay. So what we're doing from now on, working on our projects, gathering information. If you have not got a project, can I get you guys to meet me out there, please? And then we'll talk about the project that I'm going to give you. And yeah, make your time useful while you're here. Right? The more you do in this class, the less you're going to do for homework. Right? Just remember that. All right. I'll remain in class, of course. If anybody does have any questions online, please put it in the chat or put up your hand in Collaborate, and I'll get to you whenever I can. All right. All right. Let's work on a project, guys.